You've heard about the Illuminati. You've heard about Area 51. But have you heard about Nemo? Hi guys, my name's Natalie and this is Jessie, and today's Casual Wednesday video is going to be a conspiracy theory based around Finding Nemo. Sit down, grab something to drink, your mind is about to be blown, and I promise you, you will never watch this movie in the same context ever again. Let's just look at the title of the movie and break that down first. So we have Finding Nemo. Finding, obviously finding, but he found the Latin origins for Nemo and it came up as no one. So the title of Finding Nemo is actually Finding No One / Nobody. Therefore, if you take the premise that the movie is based on a small fish that gets lost and his father's adventure to go and find him, and then you take into account the new context of this title, Marlin is in fact finding a son that does not exist. We believe that in the opening scene where you see Marlin's wife get killed and all the fish babies get destroyed bar one, that in fact Nemo might have actually died. Maybe he died after he was born because of his disfigurement, or maybe he died before then and all the time he was a figment of his father's imagination to keep him going through life after seeing such a horrific event. So essentially Finding Nemo is based around trauma and a form of PTSD, if you will, if you then take into account all of the characters he meets along the way. Now, what we believe is actually happening is that Nemo's father, Marlin, has witnessed such a traumatic event that his brain has done something similar to creating an alternate reality. So it's a delusion he's living in. He lives in a delusion where his son existed after his wife's passing, maybe as like a glimmer of hope that she's still, you know, alive. When in fact he did die, or it's just representative of the fact that his wife died in such a traumatic event, and because he can't rationalize it, he looks for a son that doesn't exist. What we believe in terms of the characters he encounters, so Bruce the shark namely, Dory, and the turtle man. Yeah. So the theory is, or our theory rather, is that because Marlin is experiencing a psychotic break, now can we just pretend they function like people for a second? When a person experiences a psychotic break, if it gets bad enough and their delusions are bad enough, they go into some form of psychiatric treatment clinic. So we believe that Dory is in fact another patient at said clinic that he encounters. Because Dory is very prone to just going with the flow, she's very impulsive, she's happy to go along with Marlin because he's the more headstrong of the two. So she's more easily led. We were also thinking, because in the beginning when you see how Marlin's wife was killed, there's a lot of, they show a lot of teeth and stuff. Imagery. And just sharp, vicious things that, you know, obviously
So recurring symbolism.
Yeah, recurring symbolism of teeth pops out later on throughout it as well. So you see Bruce, obviously the sharks with the big teeth, Bruce, the great white shark. The dentist, and even the little girl who's fishing, and that could just be symbolically showing how Marlin's just correlating everything together. I just epiphanied about the fish in the fish tank with the massive scar up the side of him.
Yeah,
he could be basically the symbolic representation of Marlin's wound. He is the scar that can't be healed, henceforth.
I just got shivers.
I know. Henceforth he is impacting, that's why he can interact with the sun, because he is the original wound that is making everything seem so real when it isn't.
So yes, we're going to recap. Okay, so Marlin is the father of a deceased wife and potentially deceased or never alive son named Nemo, who is in fact no one. Marlin is suffering from a psychotic breakdown thanks to the trauma surrounding his wife and or son's death. The figures that he encounters along his journey to find said son, which is really just a psychiatric journey to healing. Trauma influenced characters, so they all represent something, they're all symbolic of something to do with the overarching trauma. So at this point in time, the symbolic imagery of the teeth combined with Bruce, we believe, is a representation of the event and or people along his journey that have a negative influence because it's associated with fear. We believe Dory is someone he meets in some sort of psychiatric clinic. We believe that the original opening of the movie where he sees his son go to school may in fact be the last moments that he saw his son, or may in fact just be relived memories.
We also believe that when Nemo was taken by the man who scoops him up out of the water, because that was like a flashback for him because his wife was so rebellious and she didn't want to go back to the cave, and so she was going back slowly, and then they got attacked and she was taken. Nemo was going up to the boat being rebellious, touched to the butt, and henceforth was taken. Traumatic events are connecting, and he's just seeing stuff that may or may not have actually happened.
When we see Nemo in the fish tank, we meet the fish called
Scar.
His name's not Scar, isn't it? Gil.
Gil.
We meet a fish called Gil.
Gil is a representation of the scars that cannot be healed, because Gil is the original wound, because he has that massive scar up his side, and that could be representative of the like the wound in Marlin's mind or whatever. And because he's so consistently with Nemo, it could have two meanings, I reckon. It could either mean that Nemo has grown up living with this scar that's affecting his dad, or that the scar encompasses Nemo and it's all connected in a way that's saying that because Marlin's witnessed this, the scar is still there, therefore he's seeing this and it's still affecting him long term.
Now I know how this sounds. We have too much time on our hands and we have looked too far into it.
Yes.
But it is finding no one, people. The Latin origin of Nemo is no one. But yeah, let us know what you think. There are a lot of theories that you can branch out. There are a lot of different directions you can take this. Let me know if you've ever figured this out for yourself. If you have, where you think other characters fit into it, what you think about our conceptualization of the movie, and yeah, let us know in the comments below. I'm really intrigued. I'm also really intrigued to hear your thoughts on other Disney/Pixar movies that encompass some sort of like alternative theme. Thank you also for liking, commenting and subscribing. We will catch you next Wednesday with a new video.
See you later, alligators.
Oh my god.
In a while, crocodile. Give us a hug, ladybug. No, I don't know.
Have a wonderful day. Bye.
Bye.